Crawford with LouisianaSportsman.com, back with Greg Hackney.
Greg Hackney from Gonzales, Louisiana.
Some of y'all may know him. Greg, you finished up your Classic. You weighed in about 10 pounds today. You had a short day every day.
Yeah, the day was the shortest day.
That's right. It even got shorter. What happened?
Well, the day's the first time we've had any barge traffic or any barge traffic that affect the river. And when I ran down this morning through the second lock, the lockmaster told me, he said, "Look, you're going to have to be real. It's going to be cutting it real close." And then he told me that he thought that the barge would be there about the time we've been locking back.
Oh, okay.
And of course, the commercial traffic gets first.
Sure.
And he was also carrying dangerous cargo, so he said I couldn't lock with him.
Right.
And was actually fertilizer, which I didn't know now. Is considered because
really, wow, okay.
Right, that's what they build explosives out of. So now that's considered dangerous cargo. So anyway, I went down and I went in an area that I actually hadn't been in the last 2 days, but it was 100 yards around from where I'd been fishing.
Right.
And it was another area that really had them, and it just dried up. There were tons of fish left, tons of males. I probably saw, realistically 30 plus 2-pound bass, on the beds.
They were all rubber stamped 2 pounds.
Yeah, they were all just litter mate 2-pounders,
Right.
I caught a couple 2.5-pounders, but not one female. Not one.
So what do you think happened? You said
they
you saw
just
them during
pulled.
practice.
Yeah, they just pulled out. The water's fell about 2 foot since I found those fish.
Okay.
And it just fell too much. And I think what messed me up the first day, what I didn't realize because I couldn't see, because that wind blew 25.
Right.
And I was going on what I caught. I thought there was still plenty fish.
Okay.
And then once the second day, it was done.
Right.
I would just go in that area. There'd be 15 stumps with not a bass, and then one, and no female. So that was the reason I didn't go back there today. And I wouldn't have changed a thing. I overcompensated a little bit just because I thought they were, I give these boys a lot of credit.
Right.
These are the best fishermen on the planet, bar none. The ones that make the Classic, I can guarantee you, are the best.
Right.
I know
and any of y'all can win.
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt. Anybody in the Classic field, from the Federation anglers, because the deal is, regardless of how they qualified, that just means they are the best of their bunch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
And so, any of these guys can win. And I thought because the weather was a little bit warmer than it was the last time we were here, and it took mid-50s, I really thought it was going to take closer to 60. And I thought, and for me to do that, I thought I would need one big bag, 20 plus, not 20 pounds, more like mid-20s.
Right.
And so I saw that kind of fish in practice.
Well, now, Greg, you say that the waterfall, the water drop, hurt you. We're still seeing guys that were in those upper pools.
Yeah, well, the water is a lot more stable for some reason. I'll tell you, this is the deal. Most of the guys fishing the other pools are on the lower part of the pool. Okay.
That's the last part that drops?
That's the last part. Well, but think about this. When the river is as high as it possibly can get, in front of that lock, it'll only be 3 foot higher on the upstream side.
Okay.
It never is over 3 foot higher.
Okay.
It runs over the dam. Now, once you go right below the dam, it'll be 20 foot high or 30 foot high. But in front of that dam, and it's like that on every river system that has locking dams.
And so you were how far?
I was in the middle of the next pool, which it was fluctuating a lot more.
Right.
My other area was in the bottom of pool 4. It fluctuated 6-8 inches the whole tournament. That's it.
Wow.
So it was a lot more stable.
Well, do you regret not staying in pool 4?
Not the first day, without a doubt, but probably that second day. But again, I saw just enough the first day to keep me interested, because I was like, man, I was one bite away from leading the tournament, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, there were a lot of big ones in there. Maybe I just fished a little fast, fished over them, I need to slow down a little more. And of course, I went back the second day and they were gone. Another reason today I didn't go to pool 4, I knew the other areas that I had. There was guys catching them in the tournament in those areas, and I don't want to go in there and get on top of somebody on the last day.
There is professional courtesy.
Well, yeah, I want them, you know what, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I don't know, and I thought, you know what, if I do catch a giant bag, I'd have an outside chance.
Yeah.
So I said, there ain't but one place I can do that. And so I actually went to my other area that I hadn't fished, and it was full of fish, but just rats, just male bass.
Right. Well, now, what were your techniques, baits of choice for the week?
You know, I mostly flipped. Like the first day I flipped, that wind was, I just picked up a 1/2 ounce jig, and I just, you know, those big fish, when they can't see good, and that water was a little bit off-colored that morning, and wind was blowing 25, and they were aggressive because it had been 85 degrees the day before. The water was like 65, and I was just rolling with that jig, and every fish that bit me got it on the initial.
Okay.
I'd pick up and they were on there. I wouldn't feel them bite it, but they would get it on the initial drop.
Right.
So I just used that jig because I could cover a lot of water. And it'll catch big ones when they're on the bed.
Okay.
You know, in those conditions.
Right.
You know, I had the right conditions for a jig. Once it slicked off the next day, I mean, I caught them on a little bit of everything. I caught them on a zero. I caught them on a rodent. I caught some jig bites. I sight fished with a spinning rod some. I mean, just whatever. I did the same thing today. Just normal sight fishing stuff.
Right. You had to switch up the second 2 days simply to
Well, the water was so clear, and they were spooky because the water had fell so much, and they were real shallow.
Okay.
And so I had to go to weightless bait to catch most of them.
Oh, okay.
You know, they weren't aggressive at all. You know, because the deal would, I'd have to try to cast past them and slip my bait.
Oh, okay.
You know, in.
Right.
Because you couldn't throw right to them; they'd run off and take them forever to come back.
Just standard sight fishing.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, you didn't win the classic, but you said you're happy with how you fished.
No, I fished good.
How does that play into your moving into the regular season? How does that play into your?
Oh, I'm ready to get started. I'm ready for the next classic. You know what I'm saying? So,
but
it's a hard road to qualify for a classic, and I'm ready to get on the road and get it started.
Do you feel like the way that you fished this week, pretty clean, really sort of set you up, for that middle game that you've got to play to really do well on the elites?
Yeah, and I found a lot of fish. I mean, I had a good practice. I still, that's what this deal's all about. Is you can find them. I'll be honest with you. I found a group of fish that looks like it's going to win the classic. I mean, I chose not to fish for them because I didn't think they were big enough. But I mean, I don't.
So they're catching fish where you had found some. Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah.
I don't know which one of them is going to win, but
right.
One of them was fishing them for sure.
Right. Well, so it sends you into the elite.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm real fortunate. I found a lot of fish.
Right.
So I mean, I've been really blessed in this, and I don't have any complaints, and I'll win the one I'm supposed to win, or if it's in my cards.
Right.
So I'm not gonna fight it anymore. Used to I'd try to force it or whatever. Now I'm like, it's gonna happen.
Right.
You know what? The odds will be in my favor.
At some point they have
to be. The mother lode's got to find me.
Right.
So that's.
Look at Van Dam. He's fished so many of them. Odds are just in his favor.
Well, I mean, 22. He's won 4 out of 22.
That's what I'm talking about.
He did win the 10th one.